This is a 5 to 10 minute digression reaction to some of, I would say, my most downvoted videos. And it's not bad at all. To me, it is just pointing out that people are resistant to change. This sport is resistant to change, and hence why it's fallen behind some of the other mainstream things. Like getting a dirt bike is expensive, and going out and then going racing, it's dangerous. And we could go on that topic forever. I've gone on with it before, and I have seen the sport actually moving in the right direction when it comes to changing things, changing rules, bringing more money in. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with competition. That's why I'm 100% for having a free market. You don't have one person own everything because they just dictate the rules and they're not going to change anything. But as soon as you have competition, well, then the other guy has to lower his prices to try to sway you to go over here. We are seeing a big title change with World Supercross, Super Motocross, Arena Cross. Arena Cross is changing up a bunch with having an open class and multiple races. They are making things more exciting. Same thing with World Supercross and Super Motocross. I could go over all the different changes, but that's not what this video is about. It is literally about the community also being resistant to these electric bikes. If the sport is to grow, it is going to have to adapt. And yes, you could have a lot of the big manufacturers say, nope, we're just going to make four strokes forever. And if they all collectively said that, well, nothing would really change. They would own 100% of the market share. However, you've got certain other companies like Stark that are coming in a full-blown tidal wave where they're dropping millions of dollars, tens of probably hundreds of millions of dollars to airdrop these motorcycles to shops to have them test ride, to where, nope, you can't buy this one, this is just a demo bike. And they're giving them to influencers and they're doing things differently. Like, if they don't get on the bandwagon, they're going to get left behind. It's the whole Kodak thing, thinking you're always going to go to Walgreens to develop your pictures. Just doesn't happen. The analogy is, hey, if things are going to stay the same, things are going to have to change. And if you think about that and kind of analyze it, it's the irony is there. 100% the irony is there. You look at manual transmission on cars. They could sell more by having them be automatic, and it was easier. It was easier for the consumer. This has nothing to do with my generation, the baby boomers, anyone that is over the age of 25 or really 20. This has nothing to do with them, right? This is all meant for the new generation of kids, our kids and their kids, where they're not going to know anything different. They're not going to be like, hey, you used to shift and use a clutch? Yeah. But as far as racing goes, it is going electric. Technology has doubled, or at least computer power doubles every 18 months. If you think about those numbers, it is freaking insane. If you look at what technology has done, we don't use a rotary phone anymore. We use emails. People thought you were never going to do business texting wise, and now you've got the whole, I'm going on a tangent here, and that's what this whole video is about, the metaverse, with things changing inside digital worlds, where I have hundreds of thousands of views and people on live shows, and it's with people that are across the country. Like the first Gypsy Tale that I did with Jace, we were freaking 12 hours apart from each other. One dude in Sydney, me in California. The grocery stores, you have self-checkout. We are now having self-driving cars. It is happening. And I would say acceptance is not weak. And I think a lot of individuals that are my age, and then even the more hardened individuals that have gone through incredibly tough times, they see this new generation as being weak. And yeah, there's a saying, because experiences kind of shape who you are. And when you haven't been exposed to incredibly difficult times that make living worth living, right? I'm generalizing here. So if I piss you off, totally let me know in the comments below. My point that I keep coming back to is that it is changing, and it's going to change. And yeah, a lot of people are saying, no, it's going to die out. Rallycross, a lot of other people have tried these electric stuff. It's not going to happen. It's all just testing. It's a matter of time. It is a humanity problem is what it is as far as critical thinking goes. It's simple-mindedness to think that things are not going to evolve in a technological advanced type of way. We've got issues with batteries. Yeah, they're not good for the environment. You can't recharge them. It's just a small technical problem that is going to be solved within the next couple decades. And two-strokes and combustion motors are just old tech. They're just old tech. They're not efficient. They're not fast. People can be more competitive with it. Like, freaking A. The sport should just instantly allow a couple of electric bikes to go for privateers. Privateers would buy those suckers, and it would start a whole new revolution. They'd make more money. I mean, there's some definitely gray area there where that could cause some big problems, and there is some problems that need to be addressed as far as there's no sound, right? But if you have a gate of 40 of them, everyone is going to be able to be like, hey, I'm on your inside. You'd be able to hear. And I'll go over some of the comments that I've had on some of these videos. And a lot of you guys are susceptible to this. Like, a lot of you guys say, I don't want this to happen, but if it happens, I get a moto, it's good. If you can accept what is happening in front of you, you can better prepare yourself for the changes and be ahead of the curve. And that's really the point. Am I excited for e-bikes? Yeah, maybe I'm a little bit more biased because I was the kid that had a dad that worked on the bikes all the freaking time. And if I wanted to spend time with my dad, we were working on bikes together, which was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I will always remember those memories. But it was a lot of work to constantly be working on this machine. Not saying that electric bikes aren't going to have that. And especially now that my father has passed away, that is the biggest thing that scares me about going to the track is I'm like, man, dude, my bike, I just go give it to a shop and give them $1,200 to have them put a new top end in it and check it over. But, I used to be riding every day, and I couldn't afford now to pay a full-time mechanic to look through my stuff so that I could go have fun on my dirt bike, right? So you guys see that me living in a different state is where I'm generally from, where all my friends riding, blah, blah, blah. I've decided to race some bicycles, and I'm really enjoying it. It's not to say that this isn't my first love, that I'm not going to come back to it. I absolutely am going to buy a bike, and now riding for me is you're doing it with friends, not so much as like, hey, I'm trying to do this as a job. But guys are talking about, hey, I've got the Storm B and Holeshot next to 450s. Bike's a blast. That little Storm B is awesome. Saying keep this separated. And I think this will be the end of motocross. Everyone made a huge mistake with the engine noise, and they are rectifying that. It's just people aren't really ready for it at the moment. They're just not ready for it. It's a humanity problem. It's a fear and greed problem. People are scared of the change, if I'm just going to just flat out say it. And that's me included. I've had to do a lot of reflecting to be like, hey, why would I be open to this? A, the technological improvement. B, the market to be able to get more people involved into the sport. C, the lack of maintenance required. Not saying that there's not going to be any maintenance. Yes, there sure is heck going to be maintenance. The cost is going to be problematic for a lot of people too, because it's a big hefty deal to get into a $15,000 to $20,000 bike. Plus, if a battery goes out, it's $4,000. But come on, a typical enthusiast, that bike could last 5, 6, 7 years, and even a racer, it could be 2-3 seasons for them with a minimal expense. I know privateers that spend $30,000 on their bike before they even go racing. Like it's mind-boggling, right? But if you could keep costs down by having a machine that is able to be thrashed a little bit more with minimal maintenance costs, where it's not has to do a whole lot with the motor, that is advantageous for the sport. And really, I want to know what your guys' opinions are because it is a good conversation, right? And even if you disagree with me, let me know in those comments, okay? This is not a place to start fights, but we can definitely debate about things, and I could learn something from a different point of view. Experiences are best when they're not your own. I want to see stuff through a different lens as you guys. You guys will have those different experiences, can shed light on things that I normally maybe would not have caught or seen. But in overview, I truly believe that this is where the sport is headed, and it is not a bad thing. Again, acceptance is not weak. This is not geared towards guys that are, like I said, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and above. Yes, even though that's the market right now. But the longevity is going to my daughter, and then, hopefully maybe one day I'll have a son as well and their kids. The acceptance is already going to happen from our children. Yes, we can go buy our 450 and two-stroke and keep it in the garage and keep them alive, but it's going to be no different than having a vintage Shelby Cobra to go to some antique car shows or whatever. That's what those bikes are going to be. Love them to death. They're always going to have a spot in my heart, but it's moving on. The technology is getting better. And unfortunately, it is going electric with this little zing, 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 zing. Until next time, keep it WFO. Brah.